guys, welcome to the very end of this virtual 412 year as we know it. This will be the last Sunday that a video like this is posted. And so this is the last kind of video of this series called Family Feud. And if you've been with us the last couple weeks, then you kind of know what this is about. And if not, I'll give you a quick recap. The title is called Family Feud because families fight in some way or another, and so because families are made up of imperfect people, including me and including you, they're gonna fight in some capacity. And so it was more of just kind of learning how not to fight well necessarily, but just how to kind of treat our family members a little better. And so the first week we talked about having patience with our family members the way God is patient with us, and we just gave examples of being slow to speak, slow to anger, but quick to listen, and just kind of little tips like that on how to be patient with our families. A couple weeks ago, we didn't have it last week because of Mother's Day, but after that first week, the second week was about forgiveness, and how by forgiving our family members, it really kind of releases us from that anger and that tension and opens us up to new possibilities with our family members. We talked about forgiveness and prayer isn't, if there's some sort of abuse going on, then that's more than just forgiveness and prayer. But we talked about, forgiveness and how that's important to not burn those bridges with our family members. All right, so this week, the big idea, the main concept is showing love to your family shows your love for God, which is very true. And I think that actually speaks for showing love to anyone, but our family is definitely that number one thing. So yes, we'll go ahead and get started with that. All right, so I'm going to show you some things that I have around here. This is Lila. I love Lila, right? This is my 2-year-old. I love her very much. Last week was Mother's Day, and I was given some amazing AirPods that I didn't even know that I wanted or needed, but I love them, right? They are amazing. I obviously love God, and so I love my Bible. And I really am, confession, a tortilla snob. And so I really love these tortillas. So side note, they're raw, so they're in the like regular tortilla bread aisle. But once you open them, you do need to refrigerate them, and they're raw, and so you have to cook them first, but they're so good, and I love these. Okay, so kind of silly, but what do all of those things have in common, right? Language is so funny. I mean, at least the English language. I think it's funny that I can use the same word to describe how I feel about all of these things, and that word is love, and there's no distinction. There's no different word to kind of show the different kinds of love. So I love God, I love my family, and I love tacos. Yes, but that just seems so weird. I will say I do love God more than tacos, but it's just funny that like the English language has just that one word for all of those things. So now maybe we should distinguish a little bit what love looks like, right? And like truly what is the definition of love? Because if I'm using the same word for my love for my tortillas and my love for the Lord, it seems kind of weird. But let's see what the New Testament has to say about that. So if you've ever been to a wedding or watched a movie with a wedding in it, then it probably has somewhere in there a reference or something to this verse from 1 Corinthians. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, it always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be skilled. Where there is knowledge, it will always pass away. So it's an incredible description of what love looks like, but it also seems kind of hard to truly attain that level of love, right? Especially with people that annoy us and frustrate us and push our buttons when it's like the worst possible time, but they know what they're doing, and so they push them anyway. And so it's hard to be patient or to not envy or to not be self-seeking when people are treating us that way. I will say sometimes I am kind, sometimes I'm not envious, sometimes, you know, I'm all of those things, but most of the time I truly am not very good at that, and that's really hard for me. I'm going to show you a picture of a family. So I actually do know this family, but I don't think any of you all do. And so in this family photo, I think it's funny because at first glance, this looks like the ideal family photo, right? Everyone is connecting, everyone loves each other, but have you ever actually posed for a picture like that? The whole family shows up to get your picture taken. The photographer has you pose in a certain way. He positions the lights or the angle or whatever and tells you all to smile. In the final picture, you probably look like you're all connecting, having a good time, but the only thing you're thinking about is how not to look awkward, right? A family photo like that doesn't show real life. I think it's funny too that during this quarantine time, you know, people are doing all these porch photos, and some of them are like beautiful family pictures and everybody's matchy-matchy and everyone's smiling, looking at the camera. And some people have toilet paper in their hands, some people have their computers, some people are in their pajamas, because it's funny, but like that shows a little bit more real life than, I mean, you know, this is obviously a school picture, but you know, she kind of looks this cute like sometimes, but really if we were to take a family photo, like it's just so funny. It's because I feel like those pictures are never really like truly what the families look like on a daily basis. What's interesting though is that a picture like that does have something in common with real life, and unfortunately the reality is that most of the time we, whoever, me or you, are usually have ourselves in mind and we're trying to make ourselves happy before the rest of our family. I'd love to say that that's not true in my life, that I love my spouse and my daughters so much that I always put them first, but sometimes it really is about me, and sometimes I do things to just put a smile on my own face versus my family members. I do want to tell you two stories. One, most recently, these actually both happened within the last week, was when I did kind of the opposite of that. So when my family put a smile on my face, and then when I did something a little selfish. So Mother's Day was obviously last Sunday, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Andy did a great job, which is so funny because I'm not Andy's mom, right? Like Andy is my spouse. I'm Lila's mom, but Lila's so young that she can't do anything, and so it's on the spouse to do it. I just think that's so funny. But he really did. He did an amazing job. He made breakfast and got a cool gift, and we had friends. We sat in the backyard and like social distance and had a great time. And he did everything for Lila. He changed all the diapers. He put her to bed. He gave her a bath, did everything. And so I really found myself smiling all day long. It was so nice. Then, fast forward, I don't know, 2 days later, this is totally first world problems, I get it, but this is kind of funny. So we have kind of a small house, so we have our living room where the main TV is. Then we have a guest room where there's a second TV, and this is gonna sound so terrible, but we just put a TV. TVs are cheap, right? And one of them I've had forever. Anyway, we put a TV outside on the patio. We have the living room TV is a Roku TV, and so it has all this stuff like already like in it. The patio TV had the functioning good Fire Stick. Okay, we don't have, I think like most people these days, we do like a streaming service, so Netflix, Hulu, that kind of stuff. You need a Fire Stick or something to play those things. Well, the guest room didn't have anything. The guest room was just a TV, and there's nothing on it because there's nothing to stream those services. Well, I had decided to take the Fire Stick from the outside TV and put it into the guest room, because sometimes I want to watch TV and Andy's in the living room and I want to go out there. But what's funny is that the patio TV was kind of his, and so now there isn't really a place for him to go if I'm watching something in the living room. Anyway, real life, right? First world problems, but real life. So as much, the point of that story was that I did something kind of selfish, and it's funny, and we've laughed about it now, but real love, like truly, like, and not to say that I don't love my spouse, but the love that Jesus talks about is truly selfless, saying, you go first, whatever you want, you go first. Real love, like Jesus' love, is sacrificial, saying, I'll go last. Everything you want is before my needs. Another real kind of Jesus kind of love is that it's spirit-led. So meaning everything that we do is done kind of in prayer, and we ask God to kind of guide us in how we should treat our family, and kind of decisions that we make on a daily basis and things like that. Maybe we think twice about them because we think about, okay, well, what is God calling me to do? And should I really be doing this? So it's kind of that like inner dialogue, that Holy Spirit kind of guiding you in conversation. Again, I am not perfect, and neither are you, but hey, at least we know, right? We have goals to strive for. So there's one last little scripture that I want to read as part of this, and this is from 1 John. So this is towards the end of the New Testament. 1 John as in the book of 1 John, not John the Gospel. So this is 1 John chapter 4, verse 20 and 21, so the end of chapter 4. If we say that we love God, yet hate a brother or sister, we are liars. For if we do not love a fellow believer whom we have seen, we cannot love God whom we have not seen. And he has given us this command: those who love God must also love each other. So what's pretty clear here is that whether we're talking about a friend, a family member, a perfect stranger, that we are only able to love other people because God loved us first, right? And not only that, but our love for God has made complete in the way that we love others. So if we're not loving towards other people, then we're truly not loving God, which is kind of a hard pill to swallow sometimes, because a lot of times it's that same concept of I love my family and I love tacos. You can't, those, yes and no, right? Like, yes, you can say those things, but that deep love isn't the same thing. So you can't say, well, I love God, but I treat my siblings terribly. Like, you can't, those two things can't go hand in hand. In the same way, we prove our love to God by loving others, including our families, right? So again, you can't say I love God, but are mean to your family members. They have to go hand in hand. Okay, so what does all of this mean for us and for our families? It means that you are called by God to love your family, not in a passive, like, okay, oh, I love you, bye, but in an active way. The kind of love that we're talking about today doesn't happen by accident. It takes some intentionality and love in action. So what I want you to do is find some sort of note card. So I have, just because I have these in my house, I have a note card, or you can even just get a regular piece of paper and fold it into fours or in half or whatever, but it doesn't have to be huge. And I want you to write the name of every person in your house. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, literally, I'm just tearing it. So write the name of someone in your family. Mine is pretty simple because there are only 2 of my family members in my house right now. Okay, so we're writing their names on these papers. Okay, Andy, Lila, pretty simple, right? Okay, so once you've written their name, I want you to think about some things that that person loves, okay? I know that Andy loves sports. I know that Andy loves Oreos. I know that Andy loves sleep. I know that Andy loves working out. And I know that Andy loves to read. Okay? Lila's easy because I care for Lila all the time. I take care of her needs all the time. It's a little bit, it's more the ones that can take care of themselves that makes it a little bit more powerful. Okay, so once you have this list, so of things that your person, every person in your family you've named them and you've made a list of things that they love, I want you to spend some time really looking at this list and think about how you can provide one of these things for them this week. I know this is hard because some of you, like Oreos, you obviously can't maybe go to the store and buy something for your family, but if it's sleep or just time alone, like how can you intentionally do something to give your family member kind of that opportunity this week? And just kind of, I mean, I'm hoping that they just take it and they don't like ask like, well, this is weird, why are you doing this, right? And if they do ask, then tell them like, I'm doing this because I love you and I love God and I want to show my love for God through how I treat you. And so that they know how intentional you are. So yes, let me know how that goes. So if you do it and it produces a positive response, I'm really curious how, what that looks like and how it goes. So let me know, reach out to me and let me know, maybe document it, take a picture of your list, take a picture of you doing it. And then we can kind of share how that goes for all of you. So yeah, I hope that this has been good for you. I hope it's kind of opened up some things for your family to maybe talk about or think about. I love you guys. I miss you a ton. We are doing one more 412 Zoom call this afternoon at 4:12 p.m. I hope to see you there, and then that's it. So I'll talk to y'all soon.